Hi, welcome to ConvinceMeAudio. Today we have the review of these, the Kinera Nanna 2. Let's talk. About a month back, I actually reviewed the first generation Nannas review up here and found them to be the most sweet sounding IEM that I have heard in quite a while, and literally within an hour of hearing them I actually bought them off Eskimo Bob, who sent it into the channel for review because I love them so much. I mean, I've got plenty of IEMs back here that are like true flagships, but for like knock around IEMs every day when you wake up in the morning having your coffee, those literally made my coffee taste better. They're so sweet. They're so pleasant. They were so well balanced, and the tuning was balanced and the frequency response was balanced, and they were just very pleasing. And they worked with every single genre. Now, Kinera have reviewed and revised their Nannas with the second generation. These. They come in at $800. I believe the same combination of drivers is used in this one. Balanced armatures, dynamics, and E-stat for the treble region. The shell is exactly the same. Absolutely no difference. They're tiny. They're very comfortable. And they are extremely long wearing, which is fantastic. The cable is okay. It's not too bad. Quite soft. And this one terminates in single-ended. It's 3.5. And the actual connection at the IEM is 2-pin. And these ones, fortunately, have been fixed so that it's rather stiff to pull these out. The first generation, they just go, they're plopped out just like that for absolutely no reason. So, thank you, Kinera. These are wonderful. They have the wedge that slides inside of your ear here so that these lock into place, which is wonderful. Very comfortable. And the same foam, fast reacting, absolutely incredible tips come with it. The bore is rather thin, as usual, and they're just very comfortable. I love the first generations. I still have them. At the moment, they're over at Golden Sounds. He's reviewing it. Link to his channel down below. And yeah, they're great. They're something you keep in your pocket. They're basically what AirPod Pros should have sounded like, but they never did, obviously. And you have those, which are infinitely better by miles. No competition, really, but you lose the convenience factor. Be that as it may. What have Kinera done to the sound? I mean, look, the box is the same, everything's still the same. These, in certain areas, are exponentially better than the first generation. But overall, I prefer the old Nannas, if you want the quick TLDR. So let's break down the frequency response from the top. The treble region, it's even smoother than the first generation Nannas, and that's saying something. I mean, you can throw any genre at these and the first generation. It's wonderful. It's smooth, but the thing is, there is actual detail up there now, and it's delicate. It provides strings and ethereal sounds with a delicacy that is quite clear, clean, and very sweet sounding. You must remember though, these, like the unique melody mest over there, and like the first generation mest and the first generation Nannas and the Starlights review up here, all require serious amounts of power to be driven well. You will drive the balanced armatures fine, you will drive the dynamics fine, but those E-stat drivers need a lot of current, and unfortunately for portable use, most of the time, unless you have a really good DAP, these end up sounding shrill or a bit peaky, and that's not how their initial sound signature is. So I actually reviewed it on the A90 back here with the Hollow Spring 2 L4, put in a $850 IEM on a 3.5K setup. Well, that's why we do this hobby, isn't it? We're kind of insane. So, treble region. Pleasing, clear, clean, transparent, detailed, smooth, a tiny bit laid back. Wonderful. Mid-range. The actual crossover on these between the mid-range and treble is fantastic. So it blends in wonderfully. It's clear. The vocals are forward, center, and very much in your face. but the instruments sprawl all around it. I think the imaging might have been slightly better on the first generation, and the air might have been slightly better on the first generation, but the actual driver is more resolving. The timbre is better on these, much better, for both treble and the mid-range. The soundstage is rather odd on this. Like I stated, the vocals is rather forward and in your face. It's a very, very close sounding IEM. Even when you power it with an A90, it does take a step back and it takes a step forward, which is all right, is good. But that's only when you listen to acoustic music, and that's when you listen to delicate music, because none of those impeach on the bass region and don't require much from the bass region below the upper bass. The problem with these IEMs in regards to their tuning and quality and resolution is the bass region. The dynamic driver in these, the way it's been tuned, is not as good as the first generation. It's elevated in the mid bass and it's elevated in the sub bass. But every single time that bass kicks in, chokes the soundstage. It chokes the imaging. It chokes the layering. It's like this. Let me paint you a picture. You're at a party. The room is beautifully laid out. You've got a dining table that's all marble. It's all beautiful. You've got wine glass here. You've got a plate here. You've got knife and fork and spoon, and everything's laid out beautifully so that you can literally look at every single thing. Everything is sparkling. You look up, the chandelier is absolutely beautiful. There's a nice candelabra above the dining table. There are people everywhere lounging in seats, and as you're getting a bird's eye view of the room, you can see everything. It's wonderful. And then 8 o'clock hits, and then they open the doors and goes, all right, the party's open to the public. The bass region walks in. He's got size 12s on. He's a loudy lad, and he just charges in. Moves the plate here, moves the dining table over there against the wall, brings the couch into the center of the room, talks far louder than everyone else, and just makes a nuisance of himself, and is just a git that needs to leave the party ASAP. That's what the bass region does. It's bloomy, unfortunately. It's not very fast, so that when you're listening to a bass guitar, it doesn't keep well time with the kick drum. They're not in sync. Something like the Unique Melody Master over there, or the Z1Rs or the an VX. Obviously they're 4 or 5 times the price, but that's why you're paying your money. But unfortunately for these, the first generation did all that very well. It was very well balanced. It was extremely well balanced. It was very, very focused, and it did not lose any of its coherency when the bass kicked in. The sub bass did roll off around 40 hertz or 35 hertz or so. It doesn't dig very low, but what it did do was wonderful. I mean, you never felt like you were missing out on much, you know, because everything was so well balanced and so articulate. That's why I actually made them my daily driver. These, you're still enjoying it, don't get me wrong. The imaging, the layering is great. The treble region is fantastic. The mid-range is wonderful. It's all been fine-tuned, resolved, with a better resolution, better decay, and it's just better timbre. It's just more realistic. It's more approaching the flagship territory. But even on a high-end system, the bass region just messes it up. It's not very good. It's very coloured. It actually is so coloured that the crossover, it can easily be seen or heard. It's not really great. But what if you were coming up from things like the tin line and blondes and things like the OH10 and things like that? These destroy those, obviously. Talking of tin, previously I actually got the entire tin lineup. And after testing and reviewing, most of them I gave away. There's this one left. The Tin T2 Pros in this nice case with a nice cable. We're doing a giveaway from ConvinceMeAudio back to the community. Thank you so much for your support. When the channel hits 500 subscribers, I will randomly pick somebody from the comment section, Tell me a story, tell me a joke, make me laugh, tell me something about audio that is an interesting story that you think other people might enjoy too. And courtesy of the channel, I will send these out. Please subscribe, press the notification icon and share this video. So back to these IEMs. How is the staging? The staging is very much in your face, but with good resonances and decay behind the main instrument, so that it gives this illusion of actually being far bigger than it is. But you can actually see the borders, like left and right here and forward and back. There is an actual border everywhere, but the resonances decay beyond that. And the illusion is there if you're on the go. The illusion falls apart when you're at a desk. Nuances in micro detail, etc. is audible when the bass region does not impinge on the rest of the frequency response. So for example, if you're listening to something classical, or if you're listening to some kind of acoustic or some live acoustic music, absolutely beautiful. You can pick up every finger running across the fretboard of a guitar. It's actually wonderful. The tuning for those two regions is wonderful. They've taken a lot of DNA from the first generation, and it's very, very pleasing. But then that bass region kicks in. The thing is though, the bass region is okay. It's okay. It just doesn't outperform or is akin to the mid and the treble. That's the problem. And it sounds good enough for a lot of things. But when there's a track that's been mixed in the studio with slightly more emphasis on the bass, this gives it that push over the edge and it becomes too much. And when it becomes too much, it's not in a good way, unfortunately, because, like I stated, it impeaches on the mid-range and it impeaches on the staging and the imaging, and it collapses on itself, you know? It's like this bloom. This might be a better picture for you. So you have the images all the way, all around. Those E-stat drivers make some beautiful imaging, yeah? You have the mid-range. You've got all these instruments here, like here, 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 all dotted about the place. It's all wonderful. You're listening to acoustic music and you can see everything. It's clear, it's transparent, and you can see right through the stage. It's wonderful. And then, like a fog rising from the depth like this, the bass region appears and it just blots out everything. It just blots out everything. First generation all the way. You can pick it up used for $550, and I think they might have dropped the price now as well. There'll be a link down below for you to check out the prices of everything. I would personally pick the first generation and take a hit on the resolution and timbre, because the tonality and the tonal balance is wonderful. For comfort, I give these 3 tigers. For sound, I give them 2 tigers with reservations. The price, I give 3 tigers. Overall, these could have been a 3 tiger IEM, but unfortunately, due to the bass region, I can't do that. 2 tigers, Kinera 2. I would like to take a moment to thank my Patreon members for keeping the Audio Lounge chat alive. And if you do want to join them too, you'll get access to early reviews, and you'll get access to the Audio Lounge private Telegram chat, where you can literally ask me any questions in regards to audio and training and bodybuilding and nutrition, etc. And I'll be able to respond to you via voice. And we keep a lively debate up there constantly. And all new equipment that comes into the channel for review first get impressions on that channel first. I am Koji CEO. I'll see you next time. Peace.